Resident Evil 1, a classic masterpiece of many, but very clunky and confusing game to others. I don't know, I'm others. The original came out in like the 1900s, while the remake came out in 2002. And after putting the remake, at least I was suffering high quality and not this. Initial rant aside, the remake offers a lot of new content to the game, about like 5 to 7 hours worth, and one of them was the introduction of difficulty. In the original, it was either survive with Chris Redfield or be mildly inconvenienced with Jill. In other words, Jill was easy mode and Chris was hard mode. Yeah, so I chose Jill for clear reasons. These shoulder pads, like what are these even for on their own? Plus, she has 2 extra inventory spaces and a lockpick, while Chris, well, he had a lighter and 6 inventory slots. It might not sound that bad, but we'll see how annoying the game is with Jill's 8 slots. Okay, game time. So this is Alpha Team, and they consist of Chad Albert Wesker, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Brad Vickers, and Joseph Frost. And this ragtag team is tasked to find members of Bravo Team, which went missing on their last mission at some random mansion in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, in a city nearby called Raccoon City, there have been weird murder cases where the victims would be apparently eaten, though it probably has nothing to do with the story though. They find B-Team's helicopter, and I'm no mechanic, but I don't think it's serviceable anymore. Our first body is Kevin Dooley, the pilot of B-Squad, if it wasn't obvious. They look around for other survivors just to be attacked by dogs. They turn Big Joseph into Little Joe, and they chase the rest into the mansion. And then Big Bad here books it. So around here, this is where the story gets a little confusing. We saw Chris enter the room with everyone, but now he's gone during the Jill playthrough. However, in the Chris playthrough, he comes in with them, and Barry over here is the guy that's missing. I didn't flip the Chris arc for a few reasons, but I can show you the minor differences along the way. But more or less, the story is the same-ish. They hear a gunshot and send strong and independent Joe Valentine to investigate. It's very progressive for the 1900s. I'm kidding. Barry tags along for like 30 seconds and then starts investigating the floor. I'm gonna be real. This transition here with the door was super cool until you see it for the 300th time, and now rewatching this, I actually hated this transition. We investigate around looking for the source of the gunshot and quickly find out that the doors in this place are locked by very special keys. So like with this, it kind of makes sense, but it's also a little over the top. You know what I mean? They're locked doors, and I've seen how special these special keys are, and they should at least be pickable, or at least, you know, very kick downable, or, you know, you can just... Yeah, but logic wasn't real in the 1900s, since all the gamers were playing out of like Foreman grills. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the camera. Now this is one thing about the game that I could not stand whatsoever. Sure, it probably took me about 25 hours to beat the game. That should have taken around 10, and that is mainly because of the backtracking and no guidance on what to do. But the root of all of that is this garbage camera. I spent 20 minutes going back and forth in this hallway just to find out that I had to walk in this direction to continue the storyline. And trust me, we'll see how annoying this camera is later on when we actively have to run from something. Anyways, in no time at all, we run into some bald dude eating one of B-Team's finest, Kenneth. I run, struggle to get to the door, and have Barry mog the zombie to death. They go in to tell Wesker, and big surprise, he's gone. In the Chris playthrough, this is where everyone would leave him on his own for no real reason. We'll learn why Wesker leaves down the line, but I never understood why Jill would leave Chris behind. Back to Jill, they split up to find Wesker. Barry goes west, and we go east, and we meet our first puzzle. So this puzzle really isn't that hard, so you gotta get this box next to this lady and grab this shiny thing out of her vase. It seems simple, right? I made a mistake of pushing the box a little too far and pretty much locked me out of getting whatever was in the vase, unless I resetted my save. But it probably wasn't anything important. It was the floor plan of the mansion. I go in the back, grab a sweet ass dagger, and get a tip on defensive weapons. Then a zombie comes and makes me waste the dagger. Worst part is, it doesn't even kill him, and it really doesn't even stun him. And also, no, you can't shoot their heads when they're down. You either have to burn them, which means you lose 2 inventory slots, or you hope you're lucky enough to get a headshot. Now, consider we lost, I roam around to a fancy corridor with a random key in the middle. The key tells me to die, so I grab it and the walls start closing in on me. My path gets blocked by some statue with a shield, and what is that? We put the key back and I start kicking my feet. I went into this like armory room and I found this golden arrow, so I just snatched it. Roamed around for about 45 minutes just to find out that this right here is a freaking door. Fresh air. I got whiplash trying to get to the other side, and wowie wow wow, it's a slot for an arrow. I shove in my arrow and nope, I guess my arrow wasn't good enough. Literally an hour later of roaming around, my college educated brain clicks and I see that it said arrowhead and not arrow. So I ripped it off the arrow and started screaming into my pillow. Going to assume, and we're met with this. I'm gonna ask you guys a crazy question. If you saw something like this, would your first thought be,
gee whiz, I'm gonna open that and at least the sunshine lollipops that's radiating from it.
Bro, even the masks you need to open the thing are called death masks. Picked up this book on the ground, probably just something the guy reads to pass the time. Oh look, a key. With absolutely zero clue on what to do now, I end up in the kitchen. One of the tenants tries to hit on me, so I leave. Found my way into an office with things that seem very important. This dog whistle and this lighter. But sadly, they didn't add discarding items until the next game. So now I was just stuck. Apparently there are these safe rooms that I can unload my stuff into, though the game didn't tell me they existed and I don't think I was able to get to them at this point. So I loaded my previous save and redid everything from getting the arrow to now. Bro, another gripe I have with this game is the saving. So you need these little ink ribbons to even save and they take up an inventory space. Granted, down the line, I should have just kept them in the item box in the safe rooms, but that thought hadn't occurred to me until I pretty much got to the end of the game. In any case, it did add an extra layer of challenge, but God, did it piss me the hell off. Grabbed the dog whistle and the memo said that a vicious dog is protecting something. It's lurking around the second floor balcony, and if I blow this whistle, it'll appear. Roaming around for about 20 minutes, I made it to the balcony. Oh look, it's a bunch of green herbs. So the herbs in this game heal you. Green ones heal you. Combine with the red herb, they'll mega heal you. Combine it with a blue and they will detoxify poison. Combine all three and you made crack. It's a straight crack. If these are here, I'm probably about to have a really bad time. Good thing my save is pretty much an hour back, Jill said in her head. So a dog came and mauled me, not even giving me a chance to fight back. I stabbed him with extreme fervor and another bitch shows up and then I die. After about 20 minutes of me trying to get back to where I was, I killed the dog surprisingly quick. Like, why didn't I go like this the first time? Grab the collar from the dead dog's stupid dead body and he gives me a coin. Well, thanks. I have another thing that I have no idea what to do with. Yes, a fun fact, touch the coin and it becomes a fake key. Took the fake key, did a little switcheroo with the corridor key, and wowie zowie, I did not think that would work. Waddled my way down this corridor and I pissed my pants when this guy appeared. Yes, not so fun fact, right? The zombies that you take down, meaning not kill, they come back to life as crimson heads, which they can run. They do a lot of damage, and this little itty bitty pistol that Jill has, it doesn't do shit. My inventory was actually getting really annoying now, so I desperately looked for a safe room and whoop-de-doo, it's surrounded by zombies. Calm and melancholy music washes all my fears and worries away, making me forget that I have like 4 zombies outside the door waiting for me to finish doing the gritty. After scampering away like a rat, I'm now in the greenhouse, and what is that? I've seen my fair share of Japanese media, and I don't think it'd be a good idea to go over there. Turns out I could water the plant, but I don't really think we want to do that, so I'm probably looking for some kind of poison or something. In my search, I run into a man named Richard, and bro's not doing too well. He's been bitten by a snake and needs antitoxin, or serum as the game calls it. And luckily for me, I was literally just there. I slither my way through the zombies, grab the serum, and I save bro. So in the Chris playthrough, this is where you would meet his sidekick, Rebecca Chambers. She and Richard are members of Bravo team, if that wasn't clear. It pretty much plays out the same way, except afterwards, Richard actually gets a bed instead of the ground, and Rebecca kind of she chills with him. I continue my search for the poison, and I find a music note. What use could this possibly have? Who knows, but I grabbed it anyways. I make it to the second safe room, and boom, there's a flask, ammo, grenade launcher ammo. Now I'm sitting here thinking the second I leave this room, it's literally gonna be over. But the calm music just washes all my fears away. Yeah, so anyways, this flask holds the gas. Pour gas on dead zombies and light them with the lighter. I don't have the inventory space to support this, so I never used it. I leave, get to this room, and I didn't notice, but there was a shotgun on the wall that I could have grabbed, which, well, I didn't. I get to a room full of windows, and oh boy, when I tell you, I've never hated this dog shit camera angle more. Luckily, I managed to escape untouched. It looked a lot easier than it was, but maybe all my problems are because I played mouse and keyboard, the only way games should be played. So after that hell, I found the herbicide, and just my luck, dogs are near it. Just my luck part 2, there's a fence. There's also a lot of herbs here. Forget that inventory is a joke, so I have to double back and get a free space. I get attacked, and I finally have my poison. Yes, like 10 minutes later, I get back and grab it, fire some preemptive shots, and what do you know? there isn't a dog. Like the first time was just bad luck, I guess. Keep walking. This time dogs jump through the window and now I'm literally sweating down my back, hyperventilating, and I get to the door and I wasn't aware that you would have to open the door again after you discard something. So a dog got a chomp in. Put the herbicide in, doused the plant tentacles with some red 40, and now I have my first death mask. How exciting. Mind my own business, then two vagrants break in and I book it for the door. I'm sure they won't bite me in the ass later. So I went back to get those 4 green herbs because it seemed like just the right thing to do, and wowie wow wow, it's a bunch of armors. I pushed the button because like, why wouldn't I? And then I got gassed. I died. Through trial and error, I finally got the right combo to push the statues in, and I grabbed this jewelry box.
Yippee.
I molest the box and it pops out a death mask. We're 2 out of 4 now. I run to the tomb to drop off the mask and just get reminded again and again how this is a really bad idea. After like another hour of exploring, I run into Barry and I prank him. He tells me to read this file, which pretty much just says, "Alma, my love, I don't know how much longer I have left to live. I'm holding on for you, but I'm infected. I'm gonna sleep the big sleep now. I'm sorry, Martin." Apparently a page is torn out and it's seemingly important to the plot, but like I didn't find it or anything. So this is so funny. I never knew how to use these first aid boxes until the end of the game. You always just kept them. I always just what the fuck? I always just kind of kept them because I thought they were first aid kits and not first aid containers. You're supposed to open them up. So yeah, try not to get too frustrated watching this. Carrying on, we make it to a gallery kind of room. The puzzle isn't that confusing, but I did have a few issues. You had to match the crown, necklace, and bracelet of this chick Lisa with these pictures over here. The lights you press will change and it'll change their color. However, I did not know that there were lights on the other side until 10 minutes in. The curse laughed at me. Nonetheless, I did it and I grabbed the 3rd death mask. After more wandering, I found this grand piano. And remember that music sheet from earlier? You combine that with the musical score hidden behind the shelf on a shelf and use it on the piano. You release your inner shadow and play Moonlight Sonata. I was not aware of your game, Miss Valentine. Wall opens up after because of course it does. And there's a crest. I was hoping for a death mask, but hey, whatever. Door closes and you have to replace it with a not as cool crest that you grab from the dining room. Put the cool new crest where the old crest was and the clock opens up. How? I don't know. A vague riddle tells you to make them run each other through, which just means make it 6 o'clock. Yeah. And now you have a sweet new key. Wanted to say hi to old Richard, and after about like 20 doors, I found this decrepit door, which is where the key goes in. Yeah, so I thought Richard was at most bitten by a really big snake, like an anaconda-sized snake. So I wasn't expecting the freaking Lord of Blasphemy to show up. And after seeing its fangs, I'm more confused on how Richard is even alive. Speaking of which, Big Richard comes in with a shotgun. I don't know where he found it, but he helps out. If we were playing Chris, he would have been all alone doing this. We take down Praetor Reichard. Jill and Richard set off some death flags, and Richard gets slimed. We grab a shotgun and gun down the snake until it leaves. We grab the final death mask, but we're poisoned, so we have to run back to get the serum. Place the final mask and a crimson head pops out, and let's just say I gave it my best shot. So most if not all my shotgun ammo went into Yawn, and many crimson head was just roaming around the mansion. So that's why I was stuck with the pistol. Regardless, I locked in, came back with some shells, and I got his ass. Then he came back to life and he got my ass. Then I fired some warning shots into his dead/undead body. Moving on, Dracula back there had a stone and metal object that seemed very important, so we grabbed it. Run past the laughing crows and a stone and metal object sized indent appears. Luckily, we have a stone and metal object to put into the stone and metal. Sorry, I'll stop. Finally, we're free from that god-awful mansion and we hear Brad, the helicopter guy that booked it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Yeah, you got Richard at a radio. We kind of just grabbed it from him. Not like it works though. It seems to be only one-sided. Took a stroll, get attacked by dogs and the local wildlife. Then I get a transmission from a good old Barry.
James, gun ineffective. Instant. Stay away. Forest outside mansion.
Well, good thing I'm in the forest right now. Wander my way into an abandoned shed and turns out it's a safe room. So the woman in chains shouldn't be allowed in. Yeah, so she came in. So this made no sense to me here. Like, why knock me down just to boom me down on the ground, just to wait for me to get up and then kill me? Like, hello? Right, so because of the dog shit camera, she killed me, but out of some trial and error, I escaped. I booked it. Got to a pool, cranked it like I was Shinji, and went across. Got clowned on by the locals, then got jumped by some snakes. We made it to the residence, which I guess is where like the servants lived. Who really knows? But something evil definitely took resident here. Found a map of the place and also a very large beehive. And then they chased me. Literally mere feet away from the hive, we get a cutscene where the bees kind of just chill in the corner and wait for us to finish. It's Barry saying some pretty questionable stuff too. I'm gonna be honest, even if you didn't know, there's only one character here who has a dorky and squeaky voice like that, and I'll let you figure that one out. Barry claims he was just talking to himself, and Jill Valentine, an elite special forces operative, is like, okay, Barry. Anyways, all alone we were again. I'll tell you, first playing this, I felt so disgusted when this appeared. Like even now, I feel like I have bugs crawling over my body. So I humanely shot it with my shotgun. And I did the same for the rest of them that are hiding away. Anyways, explored around and found some of the evil residents. This guy hanged himself and killed his friend in the bathroom. In the bathroom, we found the control key, but Big Homie outside stopped wanting to hang around, so we had to get out quickly. Moved some bookshelves, went down the ladder, and I discovered a lab of some sort. We got our socks all wet, and then zombie sharks appeared. I ran for my life, confused as hell on where to go, but finally made it to the control room. If you're playing as Chris, this is where Richard would die. He would save you from a shark. So we make it to this room. And the puzzle isn't that hard if you're not me, so I'll spare you me trying to figure it out, but yeah, we drained the water. All the sharks are dead or dying, but there's this big ass shark at the end. I reach for the key, and of course the shark wakes up and the key falls right next to it. So I'm looking at the control panel and I see what's supposed to happen. I guess I assumed that a control panel would be bolted down, meaning I wouldn't be able to push it, and anywho, did all that nonsense again and got the key. This opened up the rest of the residence, and I was able to grab some bug spray, and I destroyed the hive. In the gallery, there's this keypad. This took some soul searching, but you mash these candles in this room with the spiders with the little symbol, and the color of the candle corresponds to a billiards ball. Inside, we break bad and make some insane drinks. Apparently, when you do this, you can pretty much skip the Plant 42 boss. We poured the concoction into the roots, which I'm gonna be honest, I had to look it up because it was all the way freaking down by the shark. So at this point, it was around 6 a.m. for me, and I had no more ink ribbons, and I wanted to go to sleep. So I backtracked all the way down to the mansion just to find some, and this wasn't fun at all. Not only was I very far away, I also took down a lot of zombies. So many crimson heads were roaming around, and I couldn't die or I have to go back really, really far. Remember the shotgun room? Yeah, so when you take the shotgun, the ceiling will start coming down. However, if I did do this earlier, and Barry was still in the mansion, he would have come and saved me, and I can keep the shotgun. But similar to Chris, I would have to do the puzzle on my own. You have to explore around the mansion to find this broken shotgun, do a little switcheroo. Luckily for me, the broken shotgun room had ink ribbons, so my mission was done. I went and grabbed the shotgun, but I remember that Jill also had a grenade launcher that she could pick up. So we roam around and find Forrest Speyer, another B team member, and next to him is his grenade launcher. So like I checked, he's supposed to be a sniper and like a really good sniper, but like what was he doing with a grenade launcher? Like this was his baby, right? And on the other hand, this is a missing persons case. Why is there a grenade launcher involved? I lay him down to rest, run all the way back to the residence, and then go to bed. Next day, I'm freshly rejuvenated and ready to not fight Plant 42. There is a red book in the spider room that we grabbed, and we had to complete this book puzzle to open the way to Plant 42. Coming to see that Plant 42 was very much not dead, and Barry comes in and finishes it off with his flamethrower that he just magically has now. We exchanged some words, and then of course we split up. Anyways, we find a key in the fireplace and we ran to Wesker. Yo, Barry's been a little sus, right? Jill's like, yeah, you right. We head back to the mansion since this key opens the rest of the doors, and the path was quite literally full of snakes. We finally make it back and we get jumped by lizard people. And I'm between if they're worse than the dogs or just as bad. Yeah, they might be worse by like a millimeter. Filled with rage, I backtracked all the way down and ran that lizard's fade. This next puzzle needs you to get the statue into an indent in the wall, but the walls will converge if you go near it. The solution's pretty simple, but the camera makes it pretty annoying. You push the statue into the back and the wall gets stuck. Run around, push this button to bring the walls back, and then move the statue into place. All of that for a battery for your taser, but also this hole in the ground with a book. Inventory strikes again, so I used that first aid spray at full health. We touch the book and it pops out a medal. I'm not too huge on the lore of dead people, but this is George Trevor's gravestone, and he's the architect responsible for most of the inconveniences we've been through the mansion. We've heard the name Lisa before. This picture was of her, or at least supposed to represent her. But remember the lady that knocks you out and moves you just to kill you later? Yeah, so that's Lisa Trevor, his daughter. That aside, the people here took his daughter and his wife and left him to rot in this hole. And the disrespect is that they had this gravestone already made for him, knowing he'd die here. Moving forward, killed Nightmare Fuel, blew up another, and found my way back to the kitchen. Backtracked a little bit, switched this fuse, took the elevator up, and we found this giant battery. And of course, my inventory was full. After clearing my inventory, I found this hawk statue thing kind of stalking me. Turned off the lights and grabbed the jewels that only appear if the statue didn't see you. This is a lot more difficult than it might seem, but your boy managed to do it. We make it to the library and oh my god, grenade launcher. I stole a book from that dead snake and I got a second medal. I still have zero idea what these are for, but they seem very important to the plot. Remember those gems from earlier? So the yellow one you put in this tiger head and you get an MO disc. My birth year starts with a 2, so I have no idea what this is. Looking around, these dog shit lizards appear and thankfully I have a grenade. Anyways, we grab a jewelry box that has a red gem shaped hole in it. How do I know it's red? Trust me, bro. Oh boy, another puzzle. This one's pretty simple in theory, but mind-numbing in practice. The puzzles suck donkey nuts, but after like 15 minutes, I managed to get the pieces to connect, and we get this sick-ass key. Let's go. Run to the only door that's still locked, demolish a hunter, and freeze frame the other mid-hit. I ran back to the garden area, shot a dog in its stupid dog face, and I planted this giant battery from earlier to power this elevator. A whole set of events happened, but short thing is, I turned on the pool's water with the crank, but now that I have 2 elevators, I can freely pass without emptying the pool. But now that the water's up here, the way to get into the lab was opened for little old me. Not much really happens here, other than finding Enrico Marni, which is he's the leader of Bravo Squad, and him saying there's a traitor amongst us. And he gets shot. I guess a lot happens here. Joe for some reason glazes the killer, but like he just shot him and ran away. Like I could do that. With Enrico dead and most of the others other than Rebecca dying off screen, it's pretty much clear why they were the B team. Bro died with this crank, so we take it off his body. We search around the cave and slimy lizards try to eat my face, but I'm a girl with a big knife, so like I see this boulder and I see that it's gonna roll down and crush me, but of course a mixture of the camera and the fact that it didn't give me a chance to run, I became a Jill sandwich. Yeah, so round 2, the boulder triggered in a way that let me move a foot, so like I survived that. I didn't think I had to save, so I moved on, and of course a spider boss appeared. Grenade launcher. This next puzzle is also pretty simple, but I was poisoned, so I was frantically trying to finish it. So you're gonna push the statue to the wall, move it forward, spin it in the center, and you shove it in here, and you get a cylinder. Combine the cylinder with this tube, and the code is on the side of the object. With that, the power is on, and we can take the elevator down, and then Barry's useless ass appears. We're here screaming and it sends me to check it out. Shocker. Whoop-de-doo, it's Lisa. To explain this next puzzle, you go to the back, you push this box onto this tram-like thing, and then you run back. Watch Barry leave you for dead, then push the box into this garbage hydraulic press-like thing and you get a broken flamethrower. Of course, anyone would imagine that this is used to open the next door. How, you ask? You pull this lever here guarded by Lisa, which pops out these bars. Plop the flamethrower down and the door opens. It just makes sense. We get our socks wood again and we find the metal part of the stone and metal object. We learn a little bit more about what happened to the Trevor family. Jessica, the wife, was administered the virus, then died. However, Lisa, their daughter, did not die, but it did not leave her the same. As we've seen, they gave her a mom lookalike to make her feel better, but she ripped off her face and she started to wear it, trying to find a real mom to return her face. Also, apparently her mom is entombed nearby, but 4 stones are like keeping her there. This kind of went over my head. With the stone and metal object, we were able to unlock the gate underneath the staircase, but they didn't tell me I had to backtrack to the courtyard to take the other stone and metal object. We find Jessica Trevor's coffin with bitch boy Barry next to it. He tries to pull his gun on us, but we finally show some special forces skill and disarm him. Lisa appears and we have the choice to give Barry back his gun. Personally, I wouldn't have done it if Lisa wasn't there, but I gave him a chance to actually do something for me. Remember the story about Lisa, how she mentioned 4 stones were keeping her away from her mom? Yeah, so these are the 4 stones. Round 1, I wasted all of my ammo thinking I was able to kill her. You can't. You never can, not unless it's a cutscene. So I reloaded the save, let Barry hold her aggro, and I pushed the stones off. Lisa grabs her mother's skull and jumps off the edge. Barry says he'll go find her, but I really doubt it. We take the elevator up and there are metal-shaped indents for us to put our medals into. The area clears and we enter the lab finally. So a whole lot of nothing happens until I start venting and I found giant bugs. Now this, I wasn't prepared in the slightest for. But grenade launcher. I found 2 more ammo discs, which are needed to unlock this mega door. Thankfully, I grabbed the one in the mansion because I think I'm locked in here. I inserted them into these 3 transmitters, and what do you know? It's Chris. I really didn't know how to get him out, so I kind of just hoped it worked out later. We grabbed this refueling canister, and they really make sure that you know if you run with this, you would die. So I refueled it, and I slowly waddled my way back to the generator. Went to the elevator, and Barry shows up. We take the elevator up, and we meet Wesker, the big evil. Barry, of course, betrays us and is working for Wesker. I suppose he gets a pass since Wesker is threatening his family, but I still hate the fact that he's been dead weight this whole playthrough. And now that I'm thinking that this entire time, Wesker's been telling him, yeah, so like do nothing, just let Jill do everything. At least with Chris, Rebecca heals him. Anyways, Barry leaves. Wesker talks about how Umbrella wants this tyrant. I don't know why. He's high-key chopped and probably would kill any scientist that looks at it. Barry comes back, shoots Wesker, and they have a friendship is magic speech, and then Wesker frees the tyrant. Wesker for some reason says
Premature.
they gets bitch smacked. Same with Barry. We hurt its feelings, and then grenade launcher. And I'm gonna be honest, this fight kind of left me stunned. We talk to Barry and Wesker scampers away. The facility is set to explode, but that also means all the doors are unlocked. How do I know? Because the speakers would not shut up about it. We save Chris and we book it outside. We set up some conveniently placed flares for Brad to pick us up. Tyrant comes back, bodies Chris. Brad shows up, drops a rocket launcher from the helicopter, hoping it didn't explode on impact, and then Jill blows up the tyrant. Everyone survives. Good ending. Yippee. We'll assume Chris got Rebecca out and she's just like off screen somewhere, because it's physically impossible to have the canon ending in the first Resident Evil. All in all, this was a game. I get the nostalgia, but I don't want to lie to you, I did not like this game at all. I didn't hate it, but I did not like it. The camera angle was tragic, and the amount of times that I went back and forth while being chased by zombies was just plain annoying. Saving was annoying. It was already enough of a challenge that you have to manually save in certain areas, but forcing you to carry around limited save items was just horrible design. Fighting the inventory was harder than the final boss fight. The amount of times I just had to waste a healing item just to get space was absurd, and also the only way I was able to discard anything. I didn't play the Chris side because I didn't want to play this game again, so that's why there's like really small content about that. I don't know too much about it. Okay, all negatives aside, the story was okay. I enjoyed the story. The one thing is, this game genuinely was scary. Like, there's games that like jump scare you, but like this story had genuine dread. Like, you did not, like, turning a corner, you did not know what was going to happen. And the main scary thing was the fact that zombies did not stay dead unless you shoot their heads, which was pretty much impossible with Jill. I think I got like 2 headshots throughout the whole game, or setting them on fire. And the fact that they come back stronger, like go berserk that like pretty much like 2-shot you unless you had a grenade launcher or like a shotgun, that was just scary. That was genuine fear. The residents were 100% evil, and if the goal was to scare me, it worked. And if the sub goal was to mildly inconvenience me, it passes with flying colors. I'll be doing Resident Evil 2 soon, so get ready for that. This is Arashi Experience. You look amazing today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Coming to a close. I guess I should know that I'm never gonna see you again in a place that sells vintage clothes. I guess you should know that it hasn't been easy.